Hello everyone, welcome to the B.Pharm special program where we help you to study better. This is Ashwini Deshpande with one of the interesting and learning episode of B.Pharm on the important unit of a perfume in a cosmetic part 1, which smells to be equally interesting unit of the section of a cosmetic technology 5th semester. The topic is interesting because it is directly related to one of the 5 senses. Let us see what all we will be studying in this episode. On the screen, you can see that for the ease of a study, our topic is divided in 5 modules. Module 1, Introduction. Module 2, Olfaction and Perfumes in a Cosmetics. Module 3, Classification of Perfumes. Module 4, Manufacturing of a Perfumes. Module 5, Blending of a Perfume. Let us start with Module 1, Introduction. Cosmetics, the topic which is very close to everyone's heart and nowadays is close to brain too. These are as old as mankind itself. That's why story of a cosmetic and perfumery forms a continuous narrative throughout the history of a man, developing as man developed. One can trace the origin of a cosmetics associated with fighting, hunting, religion and superstitions, latter with medicine, then as knowledge increased, becoming dissociated from the medicine and joined as allied to the pharmacy. Even in the most primitive societies, the use of a deodorant and decorative cosmetics was universal. The same basic objectives remain unchanged today, although the means employed to further them are now far more complex and are scientifically based and controlled. This shows that the cosmetics have become fundamental part of our lives. In most of the pharmaceutical formulae, the quantities of a perfume are indicated by QS, that is quantum sufficient. It would be unwise if the same is applied to the cosmetic product, as its trade is directly dependent on the batch to batch consistency. Today's cosmetics and perfumery industries have their own technologies, scientific basis and are supported by many new researchers. With this introduction, let us enter in module 2, that is olfaction and perfumes in a cosmetics. Dear friends, cosmetics rule the market by capturing all 5 senses of the consumers. The importance of each sense depends on the product type with a large impact of a usage conditions. Consumers are emotionally attached to their cosmetics. Sensory characteristics could create an emotional link between consumer and the product, and fragrance is one of the key components. Smell is perceived by chemoreceptors in an olfactory epithelium, a patch of a tissue about 1 square inch size located high in the nasal cavity. We are surrounded by 40,000 plus odorants. Smell is very neutral term covering both pleasant and unpleasant odors, but perfumes and fragrance are used to describe pleasant smell. Perfume is a creation from the mixture of a fragrance ingredient that creates harmonious blend. Fragrance ingredient may include essential oil and aroma compound, fixative and solvent used to give human body, objects and a living space a pleasant smell. Perfume comes from the Latin per, meaning through, and fumum or a smoke. Why we add a perfume in a formulation? Number 1, purpose of including perfume in any formulation to influence consumers either by enhancing their sensorial properties or simply by signaling the product to be easily recognizable. On the other side, consumers get attached toward the perfume products because they are capable of influencing their image, mood or even personality. Manufacturing of a cosmetic employs many oils and fats as ingredients. These are scented using flowers to prepare balm, pomades, etc. Some of them are still in a market. Some ingredients used in a cosmetic may have disagreeable off odor which can be masked by addition of a perfume to make people feel comfortable using them. Many ancient perfumes were made by extracting natural oils from plants through pressing and steaming. Chemicals that are somewhat volatile can be transported to the upper part of the nose in a high enough concentration to be detected by the olfactory receptors. Now, it is necessary to know the different types of aroma compound. Fragrance, a mixture of a fragrant essential oil, aroma compounds, solvent and a fixative, can be extremely complex and contain a top note perceived immediately upon application, a middle note, heart of the perfume, and a base note perceived after dry down. Essential oils, these are hydrophobic portions of the steam distillate. These are more popular as they are employed in aromatherapy. Examples are lavender oil, peppermint oil. Hydrosols, these are aqueous phase of a steam distillate and often referred to as essential water, floral water or a herbal distillate. Examples are rose water, orange water. We have heard many terminologies related to perfume such as perfume, cologne. To study the differences in the strength of these, we will see the types of a fragrance, concentrate and the average time it takes for the same to evaporate. Perfume containing 16 to 30%, average 20% of the perfume essence, is the strongest and the most expensive fragrance, lasts longest, typically 6 to 8 hours depending on the skin type. Eau de perfume containing 8 to 16% perfume essence is lighter than the perfume and less expensive but still has a long lasting effect from 3 to 5 hours. Eau de toilette containing 5 to 8% of a perfume essence is most common fragrance sold in the retail store and lasts for 2 to 4 hours. Eau de cologne containing 3 to 5% perfume essence is the weakest perfume, marketed mostly for men as the cheapest alternative to the other perfumes. Friends, many confusing terminologies came during discussion till now, such as fragrance, perfume, essential oil. I think at this stage it is now essential to go through once to understand the difference between them. Only distillate and a pure unadulterated essential oil and or a flower essence make the fragrance. Fragrance oil are predominantly used in a cologne and a perfume for men and women. Fragrance and the beauty products. Perfume are mixture of a fragrant essential oil and aroma compound, fixative and the solvent used to give human body, object and a living space a pleasant smell. Now, I think it is clear that what is perfume and what is fragrance. Now we will enter in module 3, that is classification of a perfume. Perfume is described in a musical metaphor as having 3 notes making the harmonious chord of the scent. As we have seen in a second module that the fragrance may give different notes, based on these, fragrance can be classified in different ways. The first systematic classification of perfumes was created in 1984. It is based on the work of the Technical Commission of the French Society of Perfumers, who compiled a list of all ingredients that have existed since 1782. Top notes, also called as head notes, the same are perceived immediately upon application. This note forms a person's initial impression of the perfume. The scent of this note class are usually described as a fresh, assertive, or a sharp. The compounds that contributes to top notes are strong in scent, very volatile, and evaporate quickly. Citrus and ginger scents are common top notes. Middle notes, also called as heart notes, the scent of a perfume that emerges after top note dissipates. The middle note compound forms the heart or main body of the perfume, act to mask the often unpleasant initial impression of a base notes which become more pleasant with time. Scent from this note class appear anywhere from 2 minutes to 1 hour after the application of a perfume. Lavender and rose scents are typical middle notes. Base notes, also called the bottom notes, the scent of a perfume that appears after departure of a top notes. The base and the middle note together are main theme of a perfume. Base notes bring depth and solidness to the perfume. Compounds of this class are often the fixative used to hold and boost the strength of the lighter top and middle notes. They are typically rich and deep and are usually not perceived until 30 minutes after the application of the perfume or during the period of perfume dry down. Musk, vetiver, and scents of a plant resin are commonly used as a base notes. The latest note addition to the odor classification are gourmand, that is edible class. This includes chocolate chips, cookies, apple pie, sugar pie, etc. Marine water, fresh class. This includes ocean, air, fresh air, ozone clean, etc. Based on the source, perfumes are classified as a natural and synthetic. Natural perfumes are classified as materials obtained from the plant and animal origin. Plant origin, all parts of the plant containing essential oil can be used as a raw material. Let us see few examples. Flowers, rose, jasmine, osmanthus, mimosa, tuberose. Fruits, orange, lemon, grapefruits. Seeds, coriander, caraway, cocoa, cardamom and anise. Wood, sandalwood and rosewood. Barks, commonly used barks include cinnamon and cascarilla. Roots, roots of a ginger family. Resins, peru balsam, gum benzoin, pine resin. Leaves, lavender leaf, rosemary leaf, citrus leaf. Other natural sources that are lichen, oak moss and the tree moss thali. Seaweed, Fucus vesiculosus, which is commonly referred to as bladderwrack. Natural seaweed fragrance are rarely used due to their high cost and lower potency than the synthetics. Animal origin. Animal sources often used as a fixative that enable perfume evaporate slowly and emit odor longer. Various animal products as a fixative are given here, which are extract obtained from animal glands. Number 1, musk, most important and precious fragrance obtained from the testicles of a male musk deer. Number 2, that are ambergris obtained from pathological secretions from the intestine of a sperm whale. Civet, collected as a secretion from the glands of a civet cat. Castoreum, obtained from the glands near the reproductive organ of the beaver. Honeycomb, distilled from the honeycomb of the honeybees. In a recent year, international trade of animal origin perfume is banned in order to protect the wild species of the animals. As a result, aroma chemicals with the same scent as a natural have been synthesized and are used widely. Synthetic perfumes, these are created through organic synthesis from the various chemical compounds that are obtained from petroleum distillate, pine resin or other relatively economic organic raw materials. Synthetics can provide fragrance which are not found in nature. For instance, calone, methyl benzodioxypinone, a compound of a synthetic origin, imparts a fresh ozonous metallic marine scent that is widely used in contemporary perfumes. These are often used as alternate source of a compound that are not easily obtained from the natural source. For example, linalool and the coumarin are both naturally occurring compounds that can be inexpensively synthesized from the terpenes. Orchid scents, typically salicylates, are usually not obtained directly from the plant itself, but are instead synthetically produced to match the fragrant compound found in various orchids. Comparison of a natural and the synthetic perfume in a tabulated form is given on the website. You can download it from the website www.cec.nic.in. As we have seen that cosmetics are in use since ancient era, which has its own classification system as a tradition and the modern. The traditional classification, which emerged around 1900, comprised of the following categories: single floral, fragrance that are dominated by the scent from one particular flower, in French called as soliflore. Floral bouquet, containing the combination of several flowers in a scent. Amberi, a large fragrance class featuring the scent of a vanilla and animal scent together with the flowers and woods, can be enhanced by the camphorous oil and the essence resin. Woody, fragrance that are dominated by woody scent, typically of a sandalwood and kedar. Patchouli, with its camphorous smell, is commonly found in these perfumes. Leather, a family of a fragrance which features the scent of honey, tobacco, wood and wood tars in its middle or a base note, and a scent that alludes to leather. Cherp, pronounced as Chypra, meaning cypress in French. This includes fragrance built in a similar accord consisting of a bergamot, oak moss, patchouli and labdanum. Fougere, pronounced as fougere, meaning fern in French, built on the base of a lavender, coumarin and oak moss. Many main fragrances belong to this family, which is characterized by its sharp, herbaceous and woody scent. Modern, since 1945, due to great advances in the technology of a perfume creation, such as compound design and the synthesis, as well as the natural development of a style and taste, new categories have emerged to describe modern scent. Bright floral, combining the traditional single floral and the floral bouquet categories. Green, a lighter and the more modern interpretation of the cherp type. Oceanic, ozone, the newest category in a perfume history, appearing in 1991. A very clean, modern smell leading to many of the modern androgynous perfumes. Citrus or the fruity, an old fragrance family that until recently consisted mainly of the freshening eau de cologne due to the low tentaclity of a citrus scent. Development of a newer fragrance compound has allowed for the creation of a primarily citrus fragrance. Gourmand scent with edible or a dessert-like qualities. These often contain notes like vanilla and tonka bean, as well as synthetic compounds designed to resemble food flavors. Perfumes are used by both male and females, and hence olfactive family can also be classified on a gender basis. According to Osmose, there are 8 major families: cherp, citrus, floral and oriental are feminine, and aromatic, citrus, oriental and woody are masculine. Each of these olfactory families is then split into several subfamilies. Feminine notes are based on these fragrances: floral, oriental, chypre. Masculine notes are based on 5 fragrances concept, that is lavender, fougere, oriental, chypre and citrus. Fragrance wheel. A new classification of a perfume that is usually used in a fragrance industry is the fragrance wheel, developed in 1983 by Michael Edwards, a well-known consultant in the perfume industry. The 4 standard olfactive families, floral, oriental, woody and fresh, are divided into 3 subgroups and arranged around the wheel circumference. The 5th family that makes the exception from a rule is a fougere family, which, being more classic, stands in the center of the fragrance wheel. Module 4, Manufacturing of a perfume. So friends, we have studied different types of a classification of a perfumes. Even we know that different terminologies. Now the task is how to extract these volatile principles from the raw material and how to blend them with other additives. First, we'll see the methods by which we can separate these principles. Different extraction methods are employed to separate essential oil from the raw material. Maceration, solvent extraction, supercritical fluid, ethanol extraction. Distillation may be steam, dry or destructive distillation, and the fractionation. Expression, raw material is squeezed or compressed and the oils are collected. Of all raw materials, only the fragrant oil from the peels of fruits in the citrus family are extracted in this manner, since the oil is present in a large enough quantity to make this extraction method economically feasible. Effleurage, absorption of an aroma material onto solid fat or a wax and then extracting odorous oil with ethyl alcohol. Extraction by effleurage was commonly used when distillation was not possible because some fragrant compound denature through high heat. This technique is not commonly used in the present days due to its prohibitive cost and the existence of more efficient and effective extraction methods. Products from a different extraction methods are known under different names even though their starting material are the same. For instance, orange blossoms forms a citrus aurantium that have undergone solvent extraction produced orange blossom absolute, but that which have been steam distilled is known as neroli oil. Let us see how to blend perfume in module 5. Once the perfume oil are collected, they are ready to be blended together according to the formula determined by the master in the field known as nose. It may take as many as 800 different ingredients and several years to develop a special formula for a scent. After the scent has been created, it is mixed with alcohol. The amount of alcohol in a scent can vary greatly. Most full perfumes are made up about 10 to 20% perfume oil dissolved in alcohol and a traces of water. Cologne contains approximately 3 to 5% oil diluted in 80 to 90% alcohol with water, making up to about 10%. Toilet water has a least amount, that is 2% oil and 60 to 80% alcohol and 20% water. Now we'll see the conclusion of the episode. With all this information, here we come to the end of today's lecture. Do keep in mind what discussed today. It's the time for you to do some self-study. This is Ashwini Deshpande signing off. I'll be back with some more lecture in this series, Cosmetics and Technology. If you want to learn more and enhance your knowledge, you may log on our website www.cec.nic.in for MCQs, quizzes, LORs. Till then, keep studying. Goodbye.